playing Super Mario Maker.
Yeah. So how is it?
It's pretty good.
Well, since I'm recording anyway, you might as well tell the listeners what your opinions of the update that's coming out.
Yeah, I just heard about that. Well, I haven't had Mario Maker too long. I mean, I only got it the other day, but the update adds checkpoints,
A
which
much
is
needed feature. I don't understand how Nintendo thought it was fair to players to not include that.
and what else does it have? Does it have
Conditional power-ups. In most 2D Mario games, Mario will, if Mario is small when he collects a fire flower, he will become Big Mario instead.
Oh, that's right. That's also. And is there any new course?
They are adding a new tab to the thing, giving priority to levels made by Nintendo employees.
Yeah, but that's not. I mean, is there any new items?
New items. Unfortunately, no. There
Because
is a surprising amount of missing content in the game that they have not yet added. No. Most
yeah,
notably, poison mushrooms.
I don't even think that's the most notable. I think the most notable one is the lack of being able to put water in land levels.
That too. There is also most of the content in Super Mario World is missing, which means that a full port of Kaizo Mario is not possible.
Slopes are missing,
Slopes,
which were a big deal in Super Mario Brothers 3.
and surprisingly, there is a Mario Maker themed level in Smash Brothers that does have slopes.
Yes.
So that's pretty weird.
Well, just because it's not in the original doesn't mean they're not planning on adding it.
Yeah, the sprite rotations in the 2D styles indicate that they've added sloping mechanics to all of the layouts, even Super Mario Bros. 1. So there's no reason not to include slopes. But yeah, Nintendo has been surprisingly short-sighted for this game. That's
Again, you're assuming it's short-sightedness. After what they did with Splatoon and Hyrule Warriors, it very well could be planned in order to keep that content coming for months afterwards. That has been Nintendo's trick for the past year.
I hate that, but
it's been successful both in Splatoon and Hyrule Warriors. I have to praise them for they've managed to trick out content in such a way so that you've got enough content there, but once you've just about done with everything you've got, they add new content and revigorate the fun. I like.
So that means it is fully likely for them to add the missing Super Mario World content and add Super Mario Brothers 2 content.
Well, it's very likely they're going to add more content. What content exactly is unknown. I mean, there's already some people have already found in the game, like there's a sprite for like the sun enemy from a Super Mario.
Yes,
Bros.
that
3.
one not being included is also particularly confusing. But yes, I do see what you're going with Splatoon and content.
Keys are also pretty much a necessity. I mean, right now, and under most cases, if you put like a boss in the level, what little boss mechanics you have in there, you can completely skip them.
Yes, there is nothing in the game so far that the game cannot be made to check for bosses. So like if there's a big enemy you want to treat as a boss, you have to deliberately make it so the player can't advance unless they beat that boss, because there's no way to make the level like end when you beat a boss or something happen. Like,
but furthermore, it's also exceedingly difficult to make it so that they can't pass without beating the boss. I've done a stage now with Bowser where you can't advance unless you have the Koopa Clown car.
Yes, and I think it was a Metroid style level that I was watching where they made it so that you could skip the boss, but it was just incredibly difficult because there was a thing that you had to do that takes time. Also, time. You can't raise or lower the timer at all. My alarm went off because I forgot to turn it off. Right, you can't raise or lower the time. So if you want to make a Metroid style level that it requires a lot of exploration and stuff, it's got to be designed so that the player can explore everything in less than 4 minutes. I mean, because yeah.
The default is 5 minutes, and you can change the timer.
You can.
Yeah, it's something that's unlocked. You can't do it right away, but it was something that was added earlier today that I've meant to unlock. It allowed side-scrolling levels, and it allows you to set a timer or change the timer.
On the one hand, I
So,
can understand this because the game is designed to be accessible to people that have never made a Mario level before, but see, the thing is,
mhm.
the reason they made Super Mario Maker was because people have been making their own Mario levels, and they just want to make that official. So, like, people have... This is a common thing that people know how to do. Everyone's done this, so, like, maybe... Yeah.
And yet a lot of magazines are complaining that the level designs aren't good.
That's because...
And
That's because they're opening the toolbox to everybody and not just people that know how to do this, so...
I think some of the criticism I've played some levels on the 100 and the ones that provide some difficulty, but also aren't excessively difficult. I've enjoyed. As a matter of fact, I managed to stumble across that Donkey Kong level, the Donkey Kong Country level that I've heard so much about. I managed to stumble upon that, and I actually did, despite that being very popular, I actually didn't like that level as much because in my opinion it's very poorly designed.
To each their own.
Well, it's when I say poorly designed, I mean it's not. It looks great, but I mean it's just very difficult. There's one point where you're on this where you're on this platform that's moving back and forth, and it's one tile long, and you have to keep and there are all these flying Koopas to represent the zingers that are. The block elevator that you're going back and forth should be a little bit longer. I mean, the fact that it's one tile is ridiculous.
Nostalgia goggles blind a lot of people. That's sorry, I've never actually said something like that before out loud, so I hadn't actually worked out how the...
I've played both the original Mario and the original Donkey Kong and the Donkey Kong Country. It's not as that's
Okay, but basically what I'm saying is people I assume like this because it is Donkey Kong Country inspired and not because it's actually a good level.
perhaps, or maybe some people like the intense difficulty of it. And I don't know. So far, I'm like I haven't had too many difficult levels. The thing that really gets me though in Donkey Kong are the gimmick levels. I'm not doing any of the gimmick, especially the hold still and let the level play for you. I hate those levels.
The automatic Mario.
Yeah, the
Those
automatic.
are actually the most popular types of ROM hacks in Japan, which means that the game is actually more made for those kind of levels than actual levels to play on.
Well, there's a lot of them, and they're annoying.
Again, though, they are not considered annoying in Japan, so Nintendo probably...
When you're trying to when you're doing when you're doing the level courses where you get random levels from across the internet, the internet thing, just having one of those,
Yeah,
they're
there
annoying.
needs to be like a search filters, search terms. There's no way to actually do a search on Mario Maker, is there?
Yeah,
Right, and
not particularly
there
no.
needs to be a search filter when searching levels. There needs to be some sort of filter to just not be given. You can skip any level you want in the, what is it, course world? When you're
Hmm.
playing levels, you can skip whatever world you want if it randomly assigns you one you don't want to play. But there should be like an option to just not have levels with, say, an automatic Mario tag or a category such as like that. There,
Hmm.
these are all things that I assume they'll add later, like you said, to keep the content rolling. But see, search tags are kind of necessary to have any sort of fun with the game whatsoever. So I would think that would have been something they'd add on day one.
Hmm.
Checkpoints also were a kind of a necessary feature. Um,
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't have
yeah.
checkpoints.
Oh, and another flaw that's demonstrated by the Game Grumps is that you are required to be able to beat any level before you can upload it yourself. But Ross of the Game Grumps tends to hide a secret exit to his level that only he will know about, and that none of his players are ever going to be able to figure out. So, like, if you jump in a certain spot after getting a certain item at a certain point in the level that is nowhere near the start, then you will find a secret block that will take you to a secret door that will take you to the exit of the level right away, and you won't have to go through the impossible challenges that await you in the front. And it pisses the hell out of Aaron and Danny, but yeah, that is technically allowed by Nintendo's rules because
Hmm.
yeah. Uh,
That boss level I was telling you about earlier. I've beaten it, but I've only beaten it with the hidden the hidden superstar that I hid. I haven't actually been able to properly beat the boss yet.
Yes, and I don't think that those types of levels should be allowed. Maybe.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not sure if the boss is unbeatable or not yet. But either way,
Right.
I'm not planning on uploading that level anyway.
It's
The
yes.
only level I've uploaded so far is a pipe dream.
Yes, but technically you are allowed to upload levels if you beat them in a really unfair way that none of your players will ever be able to figure out. And also, do send me the code for your level Pipe Dream so that I can include it in the description. I don't actually have a Wii U, but I'm sure some of our listeners would.
Okay, and another thing that's unfair for level design is there are certain things where obviously for those who've built the level, they know what to expect, but there are certain things they can do where if you don't if you don't do something you're supposed to do the first time, the level becomes unbeatable.
Yes.
There was a level that I got previously where it's basically a gizmo machine where you're supposed to make the P block the P switch and wait for it and watch it and wait for it to go along the rails. For whatever reason, the first time I hit it, it just stayed stationary, making the level completely unbeatable.
Yeah, that's what am I thinking? Unbeatable by accident. That's just a sad fact of level design is that Nintendo are professionals, so Nintendo are professionals. They painstakingly make sure that their levels are beatable, but except by the sheerest of sheer dumb luck. But not everybody has the ability to make sure their levels are beatable. So.
Earlier, I was playing one of those one of those the automatic Mario levels, and and it actually took me 3 times to beat, despite the fact of being automatic. The first time something went wrong, and my hat got blasted off, so I wound up being killed by Bowser. The second time my hat got blasted off again, but that time I got killed by Bowser Jr. And then the third time everything worked correctly, and my hat didn't get knocked off, and I went I was invincible and plowed right through Bowser and Bowser Jr. So another thing is that you have to be careful because the levels just because you design a level to work automatically like clockwork, depending on timing, it can actually have some inconsistencies to it, as I found today.
Yes. Anyway, we probably should get moving along. Otherwise, this podcast is just going to be about Mario Maker.
Well, this is a special episode, so that can probably be pushed to a bonus segment because I want to focus on the.
Well, it really depends on how long it takes us to get through everything. I was not expecting episode 4 to go as smoothly as it did, and then it did. So, episode 4 was the debate one.
Yeah. Well, this one I have a seance plan.
Ah, yes. So let's just move along then. Second point I wanted to bring up before we got into the main thrust was our last podcast. I was way too tired to actually participate. Because we were doing it at night, and when I got tired, it hits me really, really hard. And I remembered that my favorite video game ever is Lego Rock Raiders. It's obviously based on a Lego franchise about space miners in space who get stranded on a planet, and they have to mine these energy crystals for their spaceship to work. And there are these monsters that try to eat the crystals and kill them, and it's pretty neat. And it's sort of a real-time strategy game with you build your base and it's very fun, and it is the only good game developed by its studio, Data Design Interactive, who holds the company holds the distinction of being the oldest operating third-party game company in the world, or at least one of them. They've been fully functional since 1983, and they hold the record for most games published by a third-party company. And once again, Lego Rock Raiders is the only good game they've ever made. They are an infamous shovelware developer. They are most well known for golf simulators and Ninja Bread Man.
Ninja Bread Man?
Ninja Bread Man. Ninja Bread Man and the many, 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 many games that they made off of its engine. In fact, for whatever reason, Lego Rock Raiders is the only real-time strategy game they had ever made. Because
life's good when you're a ninja block.
Because I guess it never occurred to them maybe to do a follow-up on the one game that they're good at. Like, hey guys, we are apparently really good in this one genre of games. Maybe we should make more games in it. No, Ninja Bread Man. I really love I really love this company. I really do. They are just so hilarious, and it is adorable. They are making a follow-up to Lego Rock Raiders. They're calling it they were calling it Block Raiders because Lego owned the trademark on Rock Raiders until they didn't anymore. Lego apparently let the trademark for Rock Raiders fall out of copyright, and Data Design Interactive bought it, and so now the game will be called Rock Raiders 2: The Block Raiders. So that will be coming out next year. They are apparently very reclusive, much harder to get in contact with than any other game studio, even the ones that don't like talking to the press. No one actually knows what any progress they've made in the last couple of months, but they are working on it very slowly. But anyway, my point
And
here is
what final?
my
Oh, go ahead.
my point here is every company, every developer, every game designer is able to make at least one good game if they're allowed to keep doing what they're doing. Even Digital Homicide could eventually accidentally stumble upon their equivalent to Lego Rock Raiders, but not if we harass them to oblivion. By all means, continue to throw shit at individual games that deserve it. Make it known to the actual creative minds what games we want more of and what we don't, but do not make them leave the industry. Nobody benefits from that. Data Design Interactive is making their sequel to Rock Raiders because people told them that they liked Rock Raiders. And done. And I played Murder, I enjoyed it, and I timed it, and I was disappointed that it was only 12 minutes, but instead of harassing the developer, trying to get them to quit making games, maybe just shut up and let them make more. I want more of this world that he built here. And
Yeah, well,
that's
he's stated that he'll make more that if people buy his game.
Yep. So yeah. If you have $3 to spend and don't know what to do with it, just buy Murder. It's a very short game, disappointingly, but he'll make more if people give him a chance. Just
When I was playing it because I hadn't seen the final bonus for getting all the optional clicks.
I haven't seen that either.
Oh, you need to. I actually burst out cackling at one point in it because it was it breaks the fourth wall. The ending breaks the fourth wall, and it talks to both the character and the player at once.
Right. I will give it another shot trying to figure that out because I was under the impression that I did click everything, but nothing happened when the credits were over. So I'll just keep looking at it, trying to figure out what to do, and don't tell me anything more about it.
You might have to click the stuff in your you might have to click the stuff in the opening bedroom twice.
I did that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't play a lot of video games, but I tend to remember how I do play certain genres. Whenever I play a point-and-click adventure, I literally click everything as many times as I can before I stop getting new dialogue.
Okay.
In fact, I haven't actually played a lot of games in the last couple of years, since after I found out Let's Plays were a thing, I mostly stopped playing games unless I was able to Let's Play them, and haven't had the technology to do that, so haven't played a lot of games that I haven't played before. So Murder is one of the first new games I played, and technically I wouldn't have Let's Played it anyway, because I don't think Let's Plays of dialogue-heavy games work as things, so I wouldn't have really mind playing Murder anyway. But I played it for the podcast, and I'm talking a lot, and yeah.
And one thing as an addendum to the special Jim Sterling episode is while we were taping that, while we were recording that, a friend of mine got into an argument with Jim Sterling and wound up getting dogpiled and forced to retreat off of Twitter, to lock their account for a bit. So again, if you have a substantial number of followers and you're about to tweet out to your followers someone you disagree with, consider perhaps finding a way so that it doesn't have the name displayed. I, for example, tend to, and I only have like 330 followers, but what I tend to do is take a screen cap of the tweet and then block out the identifying information. Someone can still search the actual text and find them that way, but that's extra work on the part of the thing. If they want to do that to go searching for it to harass someone, that's ultimately going to that's a little more than. But don't just dot at reply or use the or use the
At the time of this recording, I have 517 Twitter followers. I'm not sure how that's relevant. I came to Twitter to check that, and I got distracted.
don't use the there's I'm not sure what they call that feature. They have a
Quote.
retweet feature now where you
Quote.
can retweet and you can huh?
I think it's quote.
Is it go well you can retweet and quote someone if you're disagreeing with someone or I know it's a good way to respond to someone in theory, but if you're going to be disagreeing with them and you have like a substantial number of followers, consider not doing that and taking a screenshot instead, because even no matter how well-meaning you are, if you're disagreeing with someone, especially with an audience like Jim has, really be careful and take care of how you tweet out to people like that, because whether you mean to or not, it can become harassing, and they can get dogpiled, they can get harassed, and yeah, it's not a good thing.
Yep.
So yeah, don't so do take care when using that, if anyone's watching who has substantial number of followers.
Okay, next.
Anyway, so shall we go on with the show proper?
Well, when I came onto Twitter to check my followers, I saw a movie that's coming out that I think we should probably mention. Hopefully it won't take 20 minutes to talk about this. They're making a movie where a bounty hunter hitman type guy has gender reassignment done to him against his will, and gets gets revenge again, and goes on a quest to get revenge against the doctor that did it. And I'm not happy about that.
No, yeah. My eyes rolled in my head the second I heard that. Yeah, it's
they already made a movie like this, and Amanda Hagen reviewed it, and it was awful. And now they're making another one, and I don't like this.
This isn't the Rocky Horror remake, right?
Oh no, I'm excited for the Rocky Horror remake, because it looks like that one's going to correct the parts about Rocky Horror that I didn't like.
Well, I've heard some mixed reviews. I've never actually seen the original.
I have seen Rocky Horror, and it actually took me several weeks to watch it, because as much as I understand that people like Rocky Horror, I blame that movie. That is one of the two movies that I most blame for the way trans people are seen by modern society.
Let me guess. The other one is Silence of the Lambs.
Yep.
Of course it is.
Because that one I actually know for. I actually have evidence to point to for how that one fucked up our lives. There is at least one trans person that was fired from their job because their boss saw that movie. And then when I watched it, it made me even more pissed off, because Hannibal Lecter explains that Buffalo Bill isn't actually trans. So yeah, fuck. Anyway,
it's bad.
Yeah, we should.
It's bad.
It's bad. And yeah, Rocky Horror. What's the word? Rocky Horror circulates the idea that transgender and transvestite are the same things. Dr. Frankenfurter states that he is, quote, a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. So, for some reason, even though the word Transylvania kind of implies that this is a guy pretending to be a monster or is a monster or whatever, somebody decides, oh well, that must mean that all transsexuals are also transvestites and vampires. Yes, sure, okay. Because all humans are.
If you're gonna do play on the word trans to make it so that all trans folks are transformers, because let's be honest. Who wouldn't want to be able to transform into between robots and automobiles?
When I was working on I've been working on a review show since I discovered that guy with the glasses, Nostalgia Critic, all them. Rocky Horror was going to be my first episode for a while, but it was just too difficult for me to get this shit on the road there. So I think my first episode is going to be Memento, if I ever get this covered, and that's probably going to be the season finale of my first season. I'm probably going to do seasons. Anyway, but so I came out with a joke that everybody assuming that transsexuals, transvestites, and vampires are the same thing because of that line, because of that song lyric, is basically saying that all humans are made out of dirt because we live on a planet called Earth. That guy was a transvestite from a planet called transsexual. Those words do not refer to the same thing. That's the name of the planet he lives on. That's the name of the planet he lived on. Humans live on a planet called dirt, and we're made of meat. Does that mean dirt and meat are the same things?
Well, to be fair, there, in the Old Testament in Genesis, it does say that humans were created from dirt. So,
Oh yes, of course. But yes. Crap. I'm totally drawing a blank on the name of the 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 trans woman who is on Orange and the New Black. Orange is the New Black. Her name. Laverne Cox, is that it?
yeah.
Yes, her.
She's going to be
She is going to be Dr. Frankenfurter, yes. Indicating that they are probably going to actually make Dr. Frankenfurter canonically transgender. And I'm guessing since Laverne Cox is going to be in the movie, she's going to have a say over how the product turns out. And they are probably going to make this slightly more respectful of the difference between trans people, transvestites, and vampires.
Well, if they don't change, here's the thing: if they don't change that name, it's still going to be a joke, making fun of us. So
I have no idea how it's going to work out, but I'm excited to see it now, which is surprising because of how I feel about the movie. That I'm actually excited for the remake. Anyway, let's actually talk about Walking Dead and Doctor Who on this Doctor Who and Walking Dead podcast. That happens a lot. That comes up a lot. But yeah.
Okay, so you say the intro. So shall we do the intro?
Time cats go, zombie time.
Yeah, do it.
It's time cats go, zombie time.
Aren't you gonna say it in an excited voice?
I don't know. I felt really weird watching this episode of The Walking Dead. It is probably the most major episode in a while.
Okay, so how about try it one more time? Give it this time with gusto.
Time cats go! It's zombie time!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our special Halloween episode of Time Cats. I am your host, Rose, and and over here is.
They killed him.
I should warn you that there's major spoilers ahead for the Walking Dead. So if you haven't seen it yet, turn away now.
Yeah, if you care about The Walking Dead, like if you don't even watch it and are just thinking about watching it, please just do that before watching this. This is like major shit. This is like
huge spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, go.
This is the first episode in a long while where The Walking Dead has killed off a character that was introduced in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
The survivors from season 1 have basically been considered the main characters at this point, and as Chris Hardwick, the host of the Talking Dead companion show, describes them, they are the unkillables. They are considered to not be killable. In fact, there's a meme surrounding Daryl. If Daryl dies, we riot. There's actual Walking Dead merchandise with that phrase written on it now. So. But yes, in this week's episode of The Walking Dead, they killed Batman. He is dead now. And I normally don't need an energy drink just to be able to focus and get through an episode of The Walking Dead. It's a very mentally taxing show for me, but I can normally handle it. But this episode, I was wondering why I was having trouble with it, that I needed one, and then that happened, and then I realized, oh, they intentionally wrote this episode to be even harder to follow than. Okay, wow, oh God, he's dead. I liked Batman. Oh.
Come on, you can say Glenn.
Yeah,
We've already given the spoiler warning.
Yeah, honestly, I'm doing this because I don't know how seriously to take it. Because on the one hand, Glenn has been a very important character of the show, even relative to the survivors from season 1. But Walking Dead fans need levity in these hard times. Chris Hardwick has started to describe himself as a therapist. He offers people therapy after they've just watched the episode that Glenn died on. Glenn is dead, and I knew there was going to be some serious shit when he called Rick dumbass, which is a
throwback to when they first met.
It's a throwback to when they first met, and he also was talking to him over a walkie-talkie, which is another throwback to how they first met. And
he also looked at Herschel's watch.
Herschel's watch, and
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a bunch of Alexandrites died, but no one cares. Because as long as Heath we were talking about how they always kill off black guys, and they seem to introduce a black guy out of nowhere just so they could kill him off later. I don't that one guy that was with them, that wasn't Heath. I don't.
He wasn't killed though, was he?
He seems to be dying. I don't recall, but I also don't reckon.
He got shot in the leg with a bullet. That doesn't mean that he's gonna die though.
Yes, but the point being is, I don't recognize him from a previous episode. It might just be because I have difficulty recognizing
No,
faces.
he's not from a previous episode. He was introduced this episode.
When that character with the hat died, I had no idea if that was a character from a previous scene or not. Was it?
None of these are, but I'm not sure. They might have been seen in a previous episode.
I wasn't. I didn't say episode. I said scene.
The black character was never seen before. This was his first.
Right. Anyway, yes. They killed off Glenn. He had been. See. Okay. So, Nicholas killed him.
How about we talk about though the speculation between because there's a lot of speculation between whether Glenn is dead.
I just really want to talk about Nicholas and my views towards Nicholas.
Okay.
So, Nicholas killed himself because he was just too freaked out by the zombies. They were in the middle of a horde. They didn't look like they were going to be able to make it out. Nicholas killed himself, and Glenn, for some reason, tried to rescue him, even though he kind of shot himself through the head.
He didn't try to rescue him. The body fell on him.
No, I was watching. I fast forwarded a couple times just to figure out what was going on because my brain couldn't handle this.
The scene over 30 times. He fell on Glenn.
Yes, he fell on Glenn, but Glenn tried to grab the body, keep it from falling, and then he just fell under it, and then yeah.
That's not what it looked like to me.
Right. Well, the point being is that Nicholas killed himself, fell on Glenn, and finally killed Glenn. Nicholas finally did what he tried to do a couple episodes ago. Thanks, Nicholas! Thanks! I was looking forward to his redemption arc, to Nicholas becoming a competent member of the character and maybe of the team, and maybe becoming a main character in the later seasons, but obviously that didn't happen. Like, the show needs to throw people off, and this was definitely a big throwing off moment.
And also, by the way, people who after watching that episode and were tweeting threats at the actor who plays Nicholas, fuck off. Seriously, they're actors. This isn't real. They're performing a script. They're not. There's no need to send threats to the actors, you pieces of shit.
I think Jackson Lake also had a lot of shit from fans when he was on the show. I don't recall exactly.
Yeah, I checked the Walking Dead hashtag after I watched the show, and there was someone who posted the actor's face and says, "If I ever see you walking down the streets, I'm gonna punch you." And it's like, why? Why send threats to the actors?
I wouldn't mind doing like a photo shoot where I pretend to punch him, just so I can.
In character.
Yeah, in character. But like, I wouldn't actually do it because, although I absolutely hate the character at this point, I respect the actor because it is not an easy thing to do to play a character that is responsible for killing another character while committing suicide. Because he had an interview during The Talking Dead where he explained how difficult it is to portray a character committing suicide because there are all sorts of emotions you have to portray at once, and he did a very good job of it. He looked like a character that was just having a complete mental breakdown. And he just looked dead-eyed and said completely monotone, "Thank you," and then bam.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
But anyway, there's a lot of talk about whether
Jackson Lake was the name of the actor who played the governor for the listeners, by the way. He also played the doctor.
So we've got we've got a lot of talk online. There's been a lot of talk about whether or not Glenn is really dead or not, and The Talking Dead only fueled speculation.
Yes, Scott Gimple's deliberately confusing speech.
And Chris Hardwick's refusing to put the Glenn's name in the thing.
I don't think Chris Hardwick handles the production side of his show, so I'm not entirely sure if he was responsible for that or not.
True, but still, the show it is feeding into rumors. So
I think
let's discuss some of these rumors.
I think that the most likely scenario is that Glenn will probably survive at least to be able to like give a goodbye, maybe, or not, probably. It's more sad if they just find his rotting carcass, and like obviously it needs to be in a state where they can recognize it, or a zombie. Yes, zombie Glenn would be nice. Well, not nice, but I'd be interested in seeing it. And but I think that unfortunately the most likely scenario for Scott's statement that Glenn will live on in pieces is that Maggie is pregnant, and I hope not, because this show definitely does not need more babies.
Well, my opinion is that he's dead. I just don't see how there's any way that he could survive. Even looking at the scene, it doesn't even make any sense that the zombies weren't also chewing on his face at the same time. So I don't believe he could get out of that situation without getting bitten.
Yeah.
I just don't think it makes sense. But there've been a lot of. But I went back and looked at the video again 30 times, some odd times to look at it, and looked at it over and over again. And so there is the theory that that the body that they were chewing into while Glenn was screaming was not actually Glenn's.
Nicholas, yes.
But what's his name? Nick's?
Because Nicholas fell on Glenn, yes.
Yeah. I've watched the video, and I'm pretty certain that the guts that they're tearing into when Glenn is screaming is actually Nicholas's. Because if you look at where the body what they're pulling out of and where they're pulling his intestines out, it doesn't make any anatomical sense. They're putting an upper chest near the shoulder. The intestines aren't there.
Yeah, they put just a ridiculous amount of effort into making sure everything is anatomically correct and as disgusting as possible. So I'm sure that's probably accurate. They did mention this on The Talking Dead, and
Yeah, but one thing that's really freaky about scenes after watching it a few times is just how fucking creepy the zombies' smiles are as they're eating it. They look so gleeful as they're eating these intestines. I mean, their faces are smiling and filled with emotion.
On the one hand,
delight. It's freaky. It's freaky.
It's because this was such an intense scene. They wanted to make the walkers stand out and you'll notice that the soundtrack was also more noticeable and more what's the word?
Sad. Yeah.
Sad.
It was yeah.
And louder and more orchestral and epic, and this is a very significant moment, almost as significant as the Sophie Walker.
Yeah, that one had special music playing for that too. Yeah.
Yes, and there is and another thing that at the end of this episode, it looks like Rick might actually be dying soon, which that definitely can't happen.
But yeah, it does look like he's about to die. But on the other hand, he does have a cut or something on his hand that got zombie blood in it. So some people are talking about how this is going to be like how in the comic he lost. Are you okay with spoilers here?
I assume he cuts his hand off.
Yeah, he's likely going to lose his hand here, like he does in the comic.
In the Walking Dead video game, the main character also loses a hand. So I'm guessing it's just part of the Walking Dead that the main character always loses a hand.
Mm-hmm. When Rick again, his character lost his hand in the comic, but so it's quite possible it was his hand. But there are a couple other rumors about Glenn about on discussion. Some people think that he can't die, that he can't be dead yet because it's too important to have a send off where he dies with 15 minutes left in the episode. I'm not sure I buy that because
no. We can't kill off a main character without giving them half an hour to go back in time to every important person in their lives and say goodbye silently and wordlessly, and then they regenerate into Matt Smith.
The theories that I've been hearing, the things that people that I've been hearing say is saying he has to die in the last. He has to die at the end of the episode, and that's how the episode closes, or whatever. And the episode has to be all about him, and it can't be attached to another character's arc.
No, in a show this show is about killing off characters. They cannot have a consistent formula, otherwise there's no drama anymore. So like
yeah, they could I mean, next episode they could literally kill off Rick in the first 5 minutes, and it would be completely adequate.
And then Lee can show up and he'll be the main character from now on.
Yeah.
Lee is the main character. Lee is the main character from the video game, and that is what that meant.
And so there's and also I heard someone laughing about how Glenn plays Glenn's death in the comic is an important role at a vital point, so that he can't be dead now. And again, the show doesn't play out exactly like the comic. If they have to, they've done plenty of swapping around of characters that were major plot points. They've swapped it to other characters.
Yes, Shane in particular died very quickly in the comics and never became such a main antagonist.
Yeah. And Tyrese was introduced much earlier in the comics, and they swapped out his because he hadn't been played that much of a role in the show yet when Herschel died. They swapped out because in the comics Tyrese is the one who gets beheaded by the governor, and they switched that out with Herschel. So yeah, Glenn does not have to be alive just because he's in the comics.
Yeah.
But we can argue all day about whether or not and what to do, but obviously it's up to the show designers to decide what it is, and only they're the ones knowing. So I thought since it's Halloween and all, And because we really want to break the news first, I thought we could hold a séance and try to contact Glenn's spirit from fictional character, from the fictional character Purgatory.
All right, I will go. I will get the umbrella.
All right.
I have an umbrella. It's pink.
All right. Now let's close our eyes and concentrate.
Mm.
What's that? What's that noise? It's me, your old pal, Mr. Chode.
Mr. Cho, you're Batman?
Mr. Chode? You're not dead.
Or Batman?
No, I am not. I am not dead. Or am I?
Or Batman?
I've been keeping secrets this whole time.
Oh, you are Batman?
No, I am not Batman.
Oh.
But I am someone you're very familiar with. Someone who has sadly died before their time. I am, in fact, Purple Guy from Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, I loved you as Springtrap.
Okay, so really, you're Purple Guy. Yes, I'm Purple Guy. That's unexpected.
Is Purple Guy the same as Phone Guy?
No, I'm actually Phone Guy's brother.
Oh.
Fascinating. So, are you able to contact Glenn? Yes, I am able to contact Glenn. As a matter of fact, I have Glenn over there right now. Glenn's actually having a beer.
Okay. Well, I just have it. I just have it.
So I can confirm that Glenn is dead. Glenn is dead.
I have a.
You heard it here first.
I have a quick request from Glenn, if I may.
Go ahead.
I'd like a large chicken bacon garlic parmesan, and a medium shrink.
He's flipping you off right now.
I'm sorry, I just had to. Yeah.
I didn't expect Mr. Chode to be here, and
yeah.
Wow. So what did you think of last week's episode, Mr. Chode? I don't watch The Walking Dead.
How about that Naruto? Huh?
Naruto's over. It's done.
Ah. How about that?
But I can tell you, I've been watching a great show recently. It's called Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough of that.
What? Yeah. That's okay. Keep away from that. Okay.
Bye, Batman. I loved your work.
You know that was a surprise. I didn't expect Mr. Chode to show up.
I am embarrassed.
I wonder who else we could channel if we try to hold a seance.
I'm embarrassed that I had the opportunity to ask Glenn anything, and I asked him to deliver me a pizza, and I got the ordering of the toppings wrong. It's garlic chicken jalapeno parmesan. Or wait, no, garlic jalapeno chicken parmesan. Crap! I gotta write it down. Let's try to do a seance for Nora Allen next. Do you watch The Flash? You don't watch The Flash, do you?
No.
No.
Okay, but okay,
And,
we should.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Doctor Who except for a couple of references. Let's do that.
But it wasn't spooky. Let's try one more time to hold the seance though. Let's try and see what we can tap into this time.
Okay.
What is it? Why are you summoning me?
Yoda?
It's Yoda.
Hi, Yoda.
It is. Well, that's unexpected. You're from you're from Star Wars. You died in Return of the Jedi. Died? I did. Well, that's actually fortuitous because Star Wars
Is relevant again.
Yeah, Star Wars Attack of the Badonkadonk is coming out this Christmas.
Yeah.
So actually, you could give us. Do you think you can give us some spoilers, Yoda?
Is C-3PO really going to be the main villain?
Droid, not cut out for villain. He is. Not cut out for villain.
What about Luke Skywalker? What about Luke?
Your father, he is.
Oh.
What? Wait, Luke Skywalker is Josie's father?
Huh.
Wow.
Okay.
Does that mean you're a Jedi, Josie?
I have no idea.
Try lifting objects with your mind right now.
Oh, I do that every day.
Hey, you're a Jedi.
No.
Like your father before you.
No, I mean I try every day.
Oh. That would have been much better if you'd succeeded. If you'd said you succeeded.
Yeah.
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 So anyway,
Yoda, can you deliver me a pizza? Glenn flipped me off when I asked. I like pizza.
Strong am I with the Force, but not that strong.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
I guess Force conjuring isn't the thing.
Force pizza.
Yeah, Force pizza.
Force pizza.
So,
Wait. Wait. So you're saying that someone stronger than you with the Force could utilize Force pizza? Does that mean Luke or Darth Vader could do it?
No.
Oh, what if they did the fusion dance?
After 900 years old, you look as good. You will not.
Huh?
Okay. But anyway, Yoda. I've got a question for you.
God, I'm hungry.
Tell us, how do you feel about the outrage that's been put out because one of the main characters is black? Hello, Yoda? Yoda, are you there?
I think
Hard to see where the dark side is. Okay.
Yoda,
Do you have any opinions about the about these people who don't like the black character, the black stormtrooper? Up their ass, my foot I shall put.
You took so long to respond the first time she asked that I thought we had given you an aneurysm and you died twice, and now you're a ghost.
Strong am I with the Force, but not that strong.
You need to be strong with the. You need to be stronger in the Force to die twice.
There is another Skywalker.
Are we actually talking to Yoda, or are we talking to a talking Yoda toy? Because a lot of these catchphrases seem very vague and generic, and they're.
No, this is Yoda. We're talking to Yoda here. I'm pretty sure, unless we're talking to Miss Piggy pretending to be Yoda. Are you Miss Piggy? Yoda, you seek Yoda. Well, I guess we're talking to Yoda. Your posse. I'd like to join, boys. But first, I'm gonna sing a little song. I am.
Yep, we're talking to a toy. Okay. I don't know who managed to send their toy of Yoda to the afterlife, but apparently that's what we're talking to right now. Okay.
But anyway, but is there any spoilers? Can you give us can you give us any spoilers before you go, Yoda? Spoilers I have. Snape killed Dumbledore. About Star Wars. Hello, Yoda. Yoda, where you? He's gone. We lost him. We lost him.
I love the afterlife. It's so bad. Wow. Anyway, so
Time to talk about Doctor Who now.
Doctor Who time, yes. So this episode was actually really good. I liked it. I'm not sure if it was actually good or not. I just know that I liked it. I especially like that this immortal character plays her memory impairment much better than all the other immortals that have been on the show. Yes.
I didn't like the episode as much. I'd kind of built myself up for something a bit more treacherous, and I was a bit disappointed.
Yes, I would have liked it a little bit more. I felt the Leandros plot was a little silly.
Also, for whatever reason, I thought that was I thought that it was going to be spun with this headless horseman as part of a Halloween episode. Because for some reason, when I saw the previews, for some reason I got it in my mind that was the headless horseman with the glowing eyes.
Yeah, the headless horseman, in my opinion, seems like it's one of the most Halloween of monsters. So like maybe Doctor Who should do that at some point, but I guess next year.
Because what I was thinking is, throughout the episode, I was thinking that she had used that healing patch thing, but she'd used it on someone who'd been beheaded, and so it caused them to be the headless horseman.
I think it would just like grow the rest of their body from the part of them that had most of the medkit, or it would create clones of them. There's a character on Heroes Reborn that does that.
Or they could just do it like that for a headless horseman episode. That works too.
Anyway,
it doesn't make any sense, but since when does Doctor Who have to make sense?
Yes, but this character, the door is still open for them to become the Minister of War. They seem to be setting up an antagonistic role in the series. And the reason I'm so vague with the name there is because she states many times that she does not consider Ashilda to be her name now. She seems to identify herself as simply me, which is that presents all sorts of vagueness. So to prevent ambiguity, I'm going to address her the way her butler does, and just call her the Lady Me. Also, her butler looks a lot like William Hartnell's first Doctor, so I don't know why they did that. Is that a reference to something? I don't see how that'd be a reference to something.
Yeah, but if you say it's me, it becomes a Five Nights at Freddy reference.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, and I have actually read the synopses for the upcoming episodes. I was not aware they'd been posted yet, and that's why I've been speculating so heavily as to just wonder if there's even going to be an episode with certain plot elements recurring or not. Should I elaborate on them? Because,
I do not want the spoilers from the synopsis. No.
okay, hold on, my phone is ringing and I need to take this. Hello? Alright, thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Don't forget to cut that whole part out.
Oh yeah, I'm going to. Anyway, so we were talking about Doctor Who. I remember I had just mentioned the last thing I remember was mentioning that the Lady Me's butler resembles the first Doctor, but I think we said some other stuff after that.
It's not important.
Not important. Yes. Anyway, yes. The Lady Me does seem to refer to herself as protecting the world from the Doctor, indicating that she will be an antagonist at some point. And while she doesn't seem to consciously remember any previous interactions with the Doctor, she does seem to be aware of his tendency to help people and then abandon them so this is probably not the first time the Doctor has encountered her, or at least the first time she's encountered the Doctor since she was cursed with immortality. So we will be seeing her again, and I believe she was in the ending of this episode in a photograph. Yes.
I didn't see that.
Yes, I tend to not recognize faces. It's just I remember I was reading about the episode, and apparently the Doctor is now aware that she lives in modern day London, or at least.
Oh, that's right. There was a photograph, but I couldn't see it very well.
Again, I can't recognize faces unless I see them often enough that it's a routine, or that they're distinctive enough that, like, I can recognize Peter Capaldi, but I can barely recognize Shielda / the Lady Me. In fact, just recently I was watching The Flash immediately before recording this podcast, and there is a new recurring character named Patty Spivot who looks completely different to me in every episode. And in addition to that, Scarlett Johansson looks completely different to me as Black Widow in every Marvel movie, because even though she is playing the same character and made up in the same way, I assume. I cannot recognize her until she is directly pointed out to me as being the Black Widow. Iron Man I have no problems with, because Robert Downey Jr. is just very distinctive. Bruce Banner I have trouble with, because he's played by a different actor every time we see him, except for the Avengers. Bruce Banner is in Iron Man 3, and I did not recognize him. I just thought Tony was seeing a very bad psychiatrist. Yes, I actually didn't even know that that was a Shielda until the Doctor was all like, "Oh, Shielda, hi!" And then she's all like, "Yeah, that's me, even though that's not my name. You're a dick."
My mom could in the first episode couldn't tell the difference between Silda and Clara.
Yes.
Fair, had trouble.
That is another thing that stands out to me. They do look very similar. Which was confusing to me when she was announced when she was first announced that Maisie Williams was going to be in the show. She was marketed as a new companion, which made me at least think, oh god, they're going to continue to keep Clara as the companion even when Jenna Louise leaves, or Jenna Coleman. What's her name?
Jenna Coleman.
Yes,
yeah,
she dropped the hyphenation from her name, but I forgot which one she kept. Coleman. Got it. I'll remember that. Same name as the school her character works at. Got it. Yes, but yes, Maisie Williams and Jenna Coleman do look similar. So it made me think that after Jenna Coleman left, they were just going to replace the actress who played Clara, and that doesn't seem like what the show would do. Like they have this thing, like, even if they find someone who looks exactly like a previous character, they don't feature them again. Like As of the First Doctor biopic, they have an actor that looks and acts exactly like William Hartnell, or at least close enough, but they have made no indication that they were going to feature the First Doctor again. In addition, Sean Pertwee's grandson, or just son, I don't remember exactly his relation to the Third Doctor, but he dressed as John Pertwee's Third Doctor for Halloween once, and was surprised at how accurate he was, and he definitely won the contest, whatever contest he was in at the time. Yeah, so yeah, the first and third Doctors can now be reprised on Doctor Who whenever they want, but they have made no indication that they want to do that yet. But
Interesting.
yes, so Maisie,
First, aren't the actors dead though?
the actors are dead, which is why they would need lookalikes. They did recast the First Doctor for the Five Doctors anniversary special, but that was an anniversary special, and they kind of needed to have the First Doctor in that. But yes, I can see why they would be doing that, but see, that's why it didn't make sense to me that Maisie Williams was going to be playing Clara Oswald, and why it annoyed me, because Clara Oswald was going to be leaving this series. The Magician's Apprentice was originally named that because to reference a new companion becoming part of the show. And because Jenna Coleman renewed her contract, the titles had to be kept, even though they no longer make any sense. I don't know what the point of any of that was. It's just sometimes I just say things that stream of consciousness.
And I'm being quiet for other reasons that no one needs to know about.
Anyway, yes, I am. So no spoilers, but I have read the upcoming episode synopses, and I am quite excited for the upcoming episodes. And I'm sure you would be also.
And by the way, from the preview, it looks as if what's her name didn't die.
Osgood, yes.
Yeah.
This might be a Zygon replica, or maybe the Zygon.
I thought I saw both of them there.
Well, one of them would be a Zygon replica.
But is the original still alive?
That's the thing. It really doesn't matter. The Zygons are basically perfect replications of the humans they copy. I hope Osgood is still alive, because she was a very good audience surrogate.
I liked your character.
Right, and Kate was not killed in that episode where with the Cybermen, right?
Right.
Right.
She was saved by her was it father or grandfather, the Brigadier?
Father, the Brigadier, yes.
Father.
Yes. The actor who played the Brigadier died before he was able to appear on Doctor Who again, and that really upset a lot of people, and especially the creators, for just neglecting to get around to doing it until after he died. So people were a little bit put off by that. Another since I can't imagine we're going to get a chance to bring up the Brigadier again, I would like to point out that at one point in the 50 years continuity of the show, one incarnation of the Doctor told the Brigadier that, quote, every one of my incarnations will be present at your funeral, I promise you. I don't think that was an exact quote. I don't remember what he said, or why he said it, or how he said it, or what that even means, because the Doctor is going to go on to have many, many more incarnations than feasibly possible for a Time Lord. So, what is the funeral hall just going to be full of the Doctor? That's going to be complicated and confusing.
Yes.
But yeah. Nicholas Briggs. No, not Nicholas Briggs. I'm getting the names wrong. Sorry, crap, I don't remember the Brigadier's actor's name.
But he did come back as a Cyberman zombie.
Yes. The Brigadier, the actual actor who played the Brigadier, reprised the role on the Sarah Jane. No, not Sarah Jane. Wait, yes, Sarah Jane. Well, the Fourth Doctor companion that had her spin-off.
Sarah Jane. Yeah.
Yes, Sarah Jane. Sorry, I was getting the names mixed up with Sarah.
Sarah Lee, the bread maker.
No, I was actually thinking of the Terminator.
Sarah Connor.
Yes, Sarah Connor also had her own show named Sarah Connor. There are many Sarahs in this world. People named Sarah.
Yes, Sarah's a very common name.
Yes, but yes. So Doctor Who really needs to do a bit better with honoring its actors and its legacy. I think it's doing good enough for. There really aren't a lot of of things that they could there really aren't a lot of reference points. Like there aren't like Doctor Who is the only show that has gone on for this long in this specific way that it's gone. So it's fair that they really don't know how to handle themselves, but I think they're doing the best they can. Anyway, so Zygons.
Well, yeah. I'm not sure being necessarily being a being a replicated is the same for all intents and purposes. If I was copied by a Zygon, I still wouldn't want to die.
Yeah, the whole, like, the Zygons, now that I'm thinking about it, I just figured this out. The Zygons are basically, the movie It. Or wait, no, the Thing. I got those confused again. I'm confusing a lot of things. The Thing, John Carpenter's, The Thing, where that alien that replicates people, and they don't know they're aliens. They just think they're humans. And they don't, yeah. So that's basically what a Zygon is, only sillier looking.
They did an episode like that too of a different alien. That kid, he didn't know he was an alien.
What alien? What episode? What?
That was the one with the kid who was it was back with the 11th Doctor and Amy and Rory, and there was this kid, and the kid was afraid of the was afraid of the noises, and they wound up getting sucked into it.
Oh yeah, with the dolls.
Yeah, and Amy became a doll and attacked people.
Yeah, that was weird. Doctor Who's weird.
But now, to close the show up, we should probably try seance and try to see if we can get the Brigadier in one final seance. What do you say?
Can I ask the Brigadier to bring me pizza?
Sure. Okay. Let's here we go. It's me again, Mr. Chode.
Okay, Mr. Chode, you are promoted to Admiral Brigadier or whatever. Bring me a pizza. Chicken, bacon, garlic, jalapeno. No, wait, no. Fuck, no. Just fuck it. Just bring me a pepperoni. I'm too frazzled.
You can call me Admiral Akbar because I'm gonna bring you a squid pizza.
That's racist.
It's delicious.
Admiral Akbar wasn't a squid. Wait.
Actually, he was from calamari, which is
never mind. Yeah, their species are actually squid people. Never mind.
He was delicious.
Okay, so
I love long slimy things. Let me tell you.
Okay, so that was
You're getting a little inappropriate again, Mr. Chode. A little inappropriate. Sorry. I just can't help myself sometimes. When I start thinking about... Yeah, how about you not finish that thought?
I'm Googling squid pizza now.
Oh, dear. So anyway, Mr. Chode, before we sign off, do you have any other ghosts that or spirits that you can there in fictional character purgatory that we can talk to, that we can hear from, that you can deliver a message from, rather?
Also, can you apologize to Glenn for me?
Don't worry, it's water under the bridge. Okay, but do you have anyone else that you any perhaps thematic to Halloween, since this is the Halloween episode? Yes, actually, I have a very special guest. Say hello, everybody, to Cubone's mother from Pokemon Red and Blue. Oh, Cubone's mother. Remember, because in Pokemon Red and Blue, Cubone's mother died?
Yeah.
And she came back as a ghost?
Hi, Marowak!
So what does Cubone's mother, Marowak, have to say to us, Mr. Chode? Cubone's mother is here to confirm that in Pokemon Z, Marowak will be getting a Mega Evolution. And stop calling her Kangaskhan.
Aww.
Oh, interesting.
I liked that theory.
Yeah, I did too. So, so Mr. Chode, what's Marowak's ability? I have no idea. I just know that according to her, she's getting a Mega Evolution. Well, that's actually very exciting. Marowak was one of my favorite Pokemon back in the was one of my favorite Pokemon back in the Red Blue days. So it's great that they're getting a Mega Evolution. And you could confirm this 100%? 50-50. Something get lost in communication. It's like bad cell phone reception up here. It's just okay. Yeah, I get the idea. Well, that seems to be all from Mr. Cho. You got anything else to add, Josie?
Yes. The Ghost Marowak in Pokemon Red and Blue, in the remakes of Fire Red and Leaf Green, her passive ability is actually Rockhead. So that's the answer to that question. Not sure why Mr. Chode couldn't answer that. And
Well, I thought he was asking the ability of what what Mega Marowak's ability would be.
oh, well, I guess we'll find out. But
Yeah.
I also wanted to say that, with all due respect to the dead, I keep a design document for a fan-made Pokemon game that I will probably make at one point that will combine connect the Kangaskhan and Cubone lines. So yeah, uh, I don't like all the people who say that it's impossible. I mean, the shelter on Slowbro and Slowking is apparently still a shelter, even though it looks more similar to a cloister. So we can accept that those two things are literally the same species, but Kangaskhan and Cubone can't be metamorphosized equivalents to each other. I mean, can't. You know what I'm saying, right?
Well, Cloister. Well, I think the shelter has evolved to become part of the Slowbro and Slowking proper. So I think if it detached, it would devolve back into being a shelter.
In the
Actually, I think both would devolve.
in the anime, it says shelter, and in most of the Pokedex descriptions in the game, it is referred to as a shelter.
Yeah, well, I think if it ever detached, they'd probably both devolve back into being a Slowpoke and a shelter.
Yes, that will be what I would do in my game also. My fan game would have a lot of more complex evolutionary patterns, especially as it pertains to ghost Pokemon.
But here's the thing with Cubone, there's an easy fix to say why they look similar without having to make them evolve into each other.
Mm-hmm.
Kangaskhan is from Australia, and Cubone and Marowak are from New Zealand.
Okay. See, my idea would be that
so they are related but slightly different.
my idea would be that they have a cyclical evolutionary pattern. When a Kangaskhan reaches a certain level, they evolve back into a Cubone, which then evolves into a Marowak, which evolves into a Kangaskhan, which evolves into a Cubone. Basically, the idea being that the older Kangaskhan dies and the baby becomes the main Pokemon.
Well, actually, how about if a Kangaskhan dies before how about if a Kangaskhan dies before its baby is mature, its baby becomes a Cubone and wears the Kangaskhan skull
Uh,
and becomes a Cubone.
I don't know. I haven't because I don't actually have the tools to make a game. All I have are design documents, and because of how scattered my mind can be, they aren't very good design documents.
Well, that's just an idea. That's just an idea for if you want to theorize how they could be related, with not necessarily being in the game or anything. That's how an idea. If a Kangaskhan dies before the baby in its pouch is full grown.
Yes, but see, I don't.
Baby Kangaskhan will don its mother's skull and evolve into a Cubone.
I haven't really worked out if Pokemon Death will be a thing in my remake or not, because
like I said, we're not talking about I'm not talking about in your remake, but in general as the theory.
Yes, in general, the theory of the adult Kangaskhan skull being the evolutionary inducing item. Yes.
But the baby has to also not be.
Evidence has stated that the Kangaskhan Cubone thing was going to be canon, but the designers or Nintendo or somebody thought it was too depressing, so that's why it's renegated to fan theory at this point.
There's actually been actual proof outside of speculation.
I'm not able to remember where I read it, but yes, there was some form of evidence stating that it was intended.
Well, I haven't seen that, so I'd have.
I haven't been able to find it since I read it initially. So at this point, I'm willing to concede that I'm probably wrong.
Okay.
But even so, it is my head canon, and when I make a fan remake Pokemon, that's gonna be the canon in that game. So that's my piece.
So I guess that's it for our show then. We've covered everything. We've gone on long enough, I think. So how about we close it out for the day?
Significant shrinkage.
Significant shrinkage.